Why, hello everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd Podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I am your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's go ahead and dive right on into these topics, shall we? Starting with our game news topics of the day. And our first game news topic of the day is regarding NetEase to shut down Fantastic Pixel Castle, Greg Street's studio behind the MMO Ghost. So let's go ahead and take a look at this article from Game Informer, guys. Now, I never heard of this project before, so if you're interested in it, they have a little announcement video here if you guys want to take a look at what this project really is. But I'm going to break to you guys some of the details as to why it's being shut down. Now, I think this is one of the former Blizzard Riot Games studio heads, if I'm not mistaken, so he's doing his own MMORPG, and that's kind of what this project that he's been working on is with. But there are some sad details regarding this project currently. And one of those details is as follows. It looks like Fantastic Pixel Castles will shut down on November 17th unless it secures last minute funds to continue development of its fantasy MMORPG Ghost independently. The closure follows FPC's split with NetEase, part of a broader move away from supporting international studios, which has impacted other developers like World Untold and Jar of Sparks. Um, Despite the shutdown, the team remains optimistic, citing it has a playable demo and ongoing talks with potential backers to keep Ghost alive through a possible FPC 2.0. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. Now, this project seems pretty interesting. As I said, I didn't know about it before today, but just this art style here, like what they kind of have as concept, it seems pretty interesting. And the fact that they're trying to do, I guess you can say they're trying to do a World of Warcraft ish thing with this game. I'm very curious how it's going to turn out, especially now it's modern S game. So if you guys are interested in MMOs, maybe keep an eye out for that, and hopefully a studio will continue to pick it up. And well, I'll let you guys know if it gets shut down completely when we come to November 17th. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, that being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding crowd streaming is now available on the PlayStation Portal starting today. Let's go ahead and take a look here, guys. So, if you didn't know, cloud streaming wasn't necessarily available. They had like a bit of a beta build and stuff like that, but now things are getting up to date. And currently, PlayStation Plus premium members can stream thousands of PS5 games on their portal without the need of their console. The update includes a new interface, 3D audio support, uh, uh, passcode locks. Passcode locks and a network status screen, enhancing usability and security as well. Players can enjoy their games on the go, even if their PS5 is powered off or in use, making the Portal more of a versatile remote play device. This is I think their initial what they wanted the device to be when they initially released, but I don't think they had enough worldwide play testing. Like you can't get all the QA in the world to test something like this. So this is something now that they're are incorporating. So I'm very curious which games are free to stream as of now. I do not know. I haven't looked at it myself. We have a portal, but it's the 30th anniversary one, and I don't want to open the box if I'm being honest with you guys. So maybe I'm gonna have to take it out and take a look at this eventually. But this is what we got going on regarding the portal, which I think is really really cool. You know, I actually worked at Sony PlayStation with the team that made Remote Play and PlayStation Now at the time. So it's nice to see the continued development of Remote Play and PlayStation Now to become what it currently is because, you know, being part of that team over at Sony just really was really an awesome and amazing experience that I had. So knowing that it continues to be successful is really, really awesome. It almost feels like, you know, you're a part of something even though you've left a long time ago and it just continues to thrive, if that makes sense. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Do you guys have a PlayStation Portal and are you enjoying this new feature now that you're able to stream? And if you haven't taken a look at it, take a look at it and let us know your thoughts on it. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding the Nintendo Store app launches globally on iOS and Android, expanding access to games and hardware. Let's go ahead and take a look here, guys. So, according to this article, the Nintendo Store app, formerly known as My Nintendo, is now available worldwide, letting users browse and buy games, consoles, and accessories directly through the app. The app includes wishlist, purchase history, My Nintendo Rewards, and Switch linked play tracking, which is, I think, letting you know how long that you've been on the game. Right here is a good example. You've played the game for an hour and 15 minutes. Now, PlayStation's had this for quite some time, but I guess Nintendo never had that implemented. This also includes options for GPS based event info on the app as well. With over a million downloads on Google Play and rising popularity on iOS, the app builds on Nintendo's strong 2025 sales momentum following the launch of the Switch 2. So Nintendo's having an awesome year when it comes to things that they're releasing, from the Switch 2 to the games that they're developing, and now this app as well. We just did a story the other day about how the sales are doing for the Switch, with I think 10 million plus units sold so far. So I think they're doing awesome and successful. So I've liked personally the PlayStation app. It's been one of the best apps I've seen so far as these games. So seeing that they're now releasing an app to kind of compete and be on par, I think is awesome. So here are some of the details from the store if you guys want to check it out for yourself. But I just think the continued improvement of things like this, it not only helps you, purchase things and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, here are the specs. But if it helps you with purchasing and moving things along when it comes to get stuff. So I think this is awesome and more beneficial for Nintendo, and I think this is a great opportunity for them to really incorporate this as the Switch 2 continues to be one of the top selling consoles, continuing. And so yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see what ends up happening there. But I like this app. I haven't down. Forgive me for the noise. For some reason, someone's blending something right now. Anyways, but what was I saying? Yeah, but I haven't downloaded this app as of yet. Now I kind of got off the Nintendo ecosphere because for what reason, but I'm probably gonna have to pick it up, knowing that they're kind of continuing to improve their development. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, that being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding Marvel has confirmed a long term partnership with Insomniac Games beyond Wolverine's launch. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, I know the title here is quite different, but if you go into the details of this article and break it down more, kind of them confirming their continued partnership with the studio. So let me read to you guys some of the details. Uh, After the success of Spider-Man and Miles Morales, Insomniac is set to release Marvel's Wolverine in 2026, reinforcing its role as Marvel's go-to studios for single-player titles. Marvel Games general manager Hulk Mentes, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, says the company will work with Insomniac for many years to come, citing the shared value and creative alignment. As as past excuse me A past leak suggests that Spider-Man 3 and a standalone Venom game are in development. However, that is rumored, and also there is no timeline for these games currently, so we don't know when these will be released. But I think this makes absolutely a lot of sense. Spider-Man, has been one of the most successful Marvel games in history, if I'm not mistaken. Spider-Man 2 did as successful. Miles Morales is doing phenomenal. Wolverine looks to be an absolutely phenomenal game as well, and they believe it's set in the same universe as Spider-Man. So hopefully maybe we can get a crossover, maybe a cameo in some later games as they continue the gameplay and the development of this. So I'm very curious how this game is going to turn out compared to Spider-Man. There's just so many different things that they're able to do, and I love Insomniac, and I love the way that they handle their company. I love the way that they handle their games. They make phenomenal games, and they really have just a great hold on the superhero genre. I mean, now I know Spider-Man's blueprint was the original Spider-Man 2 game, and I get that, but I think what they've done with their Spider-Man games has really pushed the boundaries to something new. And depending on how this Wolverine game turns out, if it turns out to be as good or even close to as good as the Spider-Man game, it really showcases how they will be the go-to company for solo Marvel games. Now I know we got excuse me guys, don't mean to interrupt that phone call, but I know we got other games coming, like a Blade game coming for Xbox, which it will probably be on both consoles now that Xbox doesn't do exclusives. And then we also have the Black Panther game, or the Marvel 1970. I forget what that one's called, but that one as well from another studio. But so far, they're the most successful, and I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing what they make in the future. Hopefully, we can get a Spider-Man 3 or a Venom game. I would personally like for them to do something outside of the box as far as superheroes. Something like an X-Men game or a Nightcrawler game, something really, really off the main path of AAA comic book characters. I would like to do them as a side character. Something maybe short like Miles Morales for another side character. Like I would love to see a spin-off of the Wolverine game with like Mystique. I think that would be a really fun, interesting little side game for like 30-40 bucks. But that's just my little side note. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move over to our last game news topic of the day. And our last game news topic of the day is regarding EA assures stability and creativity. Assures stability and creative control after its $55 billion privatization deal. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from Game Rant. So, EA says its values and commitment to the players remain intact following the acquisition of U.S. equity firm and Saudi Arabia public investment fund. Excuse me, guys. In a SecProx statement, whatever the hell a SecProx statement is, EA emphasized it retains full control over its IPs, with the investor group backing its existing creative vision. Despite interest, excuse me, I'm reading something wrong. See, this is what happens when you have dyslexia. It fucking kicks in when you don't want it to. Anyways, despite industry concerns, EA's internal FAQ states that there will be no immediate changes to jobs and team structure post buyout. So that just lets you know that they don't plan on doing any layoffs anytime soon or anything like that, which is absolutely wonderful because usually when buyouts like this happen, layoffs are imminent and tend to happen quite often. But I think with the success of Battlefield and things of that sort, that they're really honed in on what their change is going to be with this new $55 billion fucking deal. So I think this is interesting news and interesting for them to become privatized. So I'm curious how it's going to all turn out overall. So far, it seems very interesting. It seems like we're not going to be seeing many changes, but usually when companies have structural changes as far as CEO ownership, you don't see those changes for like 3 years down the road. So everything we're going to see for the next 3 years of this purchase is going to be typical original stuff, and then we'll start seeing what the new kind of ownership has been doing with the company come like 2028. So we'll have to see what ends up happening there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys, that's a wrap for our game news topics. Let's go ahead and jump over to our movie news topics of the day. And our first movie news topic of the day is regarding Jamie Lee Curtis is still hoping for a True Lies sequel, but it all hinges on James Cameron. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from MovieWeb. So Jamie Lee Curtis expresses her desire to reprise her role as Helen Tasker, calling True Lies a life-changing film, but insists a sequel would require James Cameron's involvement. Though Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger once signed on for a True Lies 2, the development stalled, and post 9/11 sensitivity led James Cameron to shelve the project. Released in 1994, True Lies was a groundbreaking action comedy and grossed $370 million dollars and remains one of Cameron's most underrated films. Now, I think, when someone asks you what's your favorite movie, what are your favorite movies and stuff like that, it's really hard to pick. You have so many phenomenal movies. I think some of the greatest action movies of all time are Terminator 2, or some of the Avengers movies, because those have phenomenal actions. Even dumb movies like Face Off. Now, I don't think that's the greatest of all time, but I'm just saying there's action movies all over the place. The John Wick movies I think are phenomenal with action. But I truly, when I really, really think about it, I think True Lies is my favorite action comedy of all time. I think it's one of the best action movies ever made, and James Cameron did a phenomenal job with this movie. So the fact that there even still is, after all these years, talks for a possible sequel just has me absolutely fucking thrilled. Now, James Cameron's super busy with Avatar, and I don't very much think this will ever happen, sadly. But just to know that it's still out there, that Jamie Lee Curtis is keeping it alive, that even Arnold might still be interested, just makes me very, very excited to possibly get a sequel, because I would love to see the return of these two characters in Helen Tasker, and I forget what Arnold Schwarzenegger's character's name was, Harry Tasker. That's right. So if you want Jamie Lee Curtis's full comment, it is here right here in the article. Always hope. I always hoped that Arnold Schwarzenegger and I would get to do True Lies again. I don't think it's always. I don't think it'll happen because it could only happen if James Cameron wrote it. I don't think we'd ever do it without him. That was obviously a movie that changed my life in a big way. And one of the cool stories behind this movie is so in the movie industry, having your name on the poster is a very, very big deal. And one time, James Cameron called Jamie Lee Curtis and said that he wanted her name to be on the poster because she's just as equal as a star as he is. So they called Arnold and asked him for his permission to get her name on the poster because a lot of the lawyers and a lot of the back end deals, the contracts and stuff like that, having your name top bill on the poster is big fucking deal in the industry, especially back then. I think it's less so now, but definitely back then it was a big deal. So for him to share the spotlight with her was an absolute class move from Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I believe I've heard Jamie Lee Curtis talk about how it was a class move and it really, really changed her career. So I think that's awesome that he was able to do that. And I just love the story behind this. So I would love to see them return to this franchise. And I would even like the return of Tom Arnold because he did phenomenal in True Lies. The only sad part is we won't get Bill Paxton as he's passed away, but even his role was hilarious in that movie. Weird joke in that movie regarding the 10-year-old boy thing, but besides that, the rest of the movie's absolutely fucking phenomenal. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Have you seen True Lies? If not, I highly, highly recommend you guys check it out. And would you guys be interested in a sequel? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next movie news topic. And our next movie news topic is regarding Ian McKellen and Tramell Tillman join Johnny Depp and T. West's Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol. Go ahead and take a look here. I'm really, really starting to love Tramell Tillman. After seeing him in Mission Impossible, the most recent Mission Impossible movie, I fell in love with his little small part in that movie, and he's just awesome, and I love him in Severance. So to see him do more work got me excited. And Ian McKellen, you can't hype him up enough if you ask me. But anyways, Paramount's excuse me, guys. Paramount's Ebenezer, directed by T. West and starring Johnny Depp, cast Ian McKellen, an Emmy winner Tramell Tillman, alongside Andrea Rosberg, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, for a November 13, 2026 release. The film promises a thrilling ghost story set in Dixon, London, with Tillman rumored to be playing the ghost of Christmas Present, while McKellen's role remains undisclosed. I'm hoping he'll be something like Christmas Past or something like that. I would love for him to be one of the ghosts. I'm just saying that would be great. This marks the second major Christmas Carol project announced in 2025, following Warner Brothers' version from Robert Edgers starring Willem Dafoe. I think it's interesting that we get these. I don't know how the industry does that, where you get these double features happening back to back. You got Volcano, you have Dante's Peak, you got Deep Impact, you have Armageddon, and now we're gonna have this Christmas Carol, and then the other Christmas Carol. So I'm curious how they do that. I know these are IPs are open to the public, I think, but I'm just curious how that ends up happening. But let me know what you guys think of Tramell Tillman and Ian McKellen joining this project. Now, I know this is going to be Johnny Depp's return to the spotlight after all his court battles and all his court issues. So I'd be very interested to see how this project turns out. I think it's an interesting project for him to kind of return to. And they seem to be surrounding him with an absolutely phenomenal cast with Tramell Tillman and Ellen. Now, as far as the other actress, Andrea Riseborough, I don't really know her filmography, so I'm not sure how she is. I'm sure she's absolutely phenomenal. But let me know what you guys think about this project in the comments down below. All right, guys, that being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next movie news topic of the day. And our next movie news topic of the day is regarding Robert Pattinson finally breaks his silence on Dune 3. Now, this article doesn't have a lot of details regarding his character and regarding some details about the film. However, it kind of confirms that he has been one in the movie. I don't remember seeing anything confirming that he was in it, so this is my first confirmation of him being in it. But here are some of the details regarding what he said. Robert Pattinson officially joins Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 3, rumored to be playing a shape-shifting villain called Skaltol. Skaltol? I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. Though his role remains unconfirmed. Pattinson stated, "When I was doing Dune, it was so hot in the desert that I just couldn't question anything. and I was so relaxed, like my brain actually wasn't operating. I didn't have a single functioning brain cell, and I was just listening to Denis Villeneuve saying whatever you want. So I just think that just goes to showcase like a lot of the hard work that they put into the film. But I do think it's interesting that he's going to be portraying the character. And another thing that this article mentions that I didn't have written down, it seems they have two cast members there that they say are going to be playing. Where is it at? I think I missed it. Not Lady Jessica, Ashley. These characters, I guess they're going to be playing the son of Paul Atreides and the daughter of Paul Atreides as well. Some of these actors here. So that lets us know that we got some details. So it looks like when she had left Paul at the end of the last movie, she was probably pregnant during that time and had the kids as he left. Some other additional details is this movie is going to be coming out in December of 2026 when Avengers Doomsday is going to be coming out. So they're going to probably, one of them is going to either probably move or we're going to get a back to back feature of Avengers Doomsday and Dune Part 3, which I would love to do a back to back feature on opening night of both these films. I would love to do a double feature of that. I think that would be a phenomenal time. The question is, though, what movie do you watch first? Do you watch Avengers Doomsday first and then Dune Part 3, or Dune Part 3 and then Avengers Doomsday? Me, I think I'm going to go Dune 3 then Avengers Doomsday, but I mean, either way, you can't go wrong. So until they change the date, let me know what you guys think and which movie would you guys end up watching first. And also some additional details. This is going to come out in December of 2026. Release features returning cast members, of course, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Josh Brolin, alongside Jason Momoa returning as a clone. So we do have some additional details of what's going to be going on regarding this film, as far as the return of Jason Momoa's character as Duncan Idaho, and the children of Paul and Channing. So I'm curious how this movie is going to turn out. Dune has been just great movies to watch. Me and my brother fell in love with those movies. Me and my brother laugh, and we even do the weird Dune noise back to back sometimes just to make fun of each other. So I'm excited to see how this film turns out. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, that being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next movie news topic of the day. And our next movie news topic is regarding Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are in talks to return to a new Mummy film at Universal. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from Deadline. Universal is developing a new Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz in discussions to reprise their iconic roles from the 1990s and 2000s films. Directed by Matt Bettolini Oplin. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And Tyler Giltler from Ready or Not fame. The film will be written by David Cogshell and and produced by franchise veteran Sean Daniel, alongside Project X Entertainment. The past Mummy films grossed over $400 million each, and Fraser's recent career resurgence the past Mummy film grossed over $400 million each, and with Fraser's recent career resurgence, Universal is banking on millennial nostalgia to re 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 what reignite. Jesus, see, dyslexia, it fucking kicks in sometimes. Reignite interest in its monster movie legacy. Oh god, I'm so excited for this. So there's so many ways they can go with this, because I'm curious if they're gonna ignore the Mummy 3 with Jet Li, and I think it makes sense for them to ignore that because that's not Rachel Weisz's in the movie. So I think that movie can be completely ignored and they can do a whole new adventure. And there's so many ways that they can go with this movie. I think, okay, so check it out. Since The Mummy Returns came out, the career of Brendan Fraser kind of fell off. Rachel Weisz kind of stayed maintained. I think the most recent movie she did was Black Widow movie, and probably some other small projects that I think about. But the career of Dwayne The Rock Johnson has skyrocketed. So I think this movie should have the return of the Scorpion King, and I think that would be an awesome villain for them to kind of face off against because he's going to want revenge and stuff like that. So I think there's a way for them to do that. Another opportunity they can do if they wanted to is the Tom Cruise Mummy movie had a cameo to the Book of the Dead, or was it the Book of the Living? I think it was the gold one. Was it the gold one? I think it was the gold one. So it was the Book of the Living. So that had a cameo of the book. So they can in a way kind of incorporate the Tom Cruise's Mummy movie if they wanted to. Maybe. I mean, there's so many ways they can go about it. I know it's just a cameo of the book, but there's a way for them to do it. And this can also revigorate the Monsterverse franchise if they do it right. They can introduce elements of other creatures and things like that besides just mummies. But most importantly, I love Brendan Fraser. I've loved him since I was a kid in George of the Jungle. I seen his other movie Bedazzled, which I still quote that Dolphin Dolphin I adore, like that stupid ass song that he sings and he's the sensitive guy. I absolutely love Brendan Fraser. I love what he's done. Me and my brother sat there when the Oscar season came after he did The Whale, and we were cheering him on and we yelled and celebrated knowing that he won an Oscar. Well fucking deserved. His performance was absolutely phenomenal in that film. So to see him possibly return to a franchise like The Mummy is just so exciting for me. It just gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. And it's exciting to know that we can possibly be getting this film now. I know it's not guaranteed and they're not signed on as of yet, but also the fact that Rachel Weisz is going to return, I feel that she's a phenomenal actress, and the fact that I think she doesn't do blockbuster films because she chooses not to. That's I think the reason she chose not to do The Mummy Part 3, but I feel like she deserves to be more in the spotlight. I feel like her husband has outshined her. Her husband is Daniel Craig, our past James Bond. So I just would love for her to be more in the limelight. And their chemistry, Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz's chemistry, is just absolutely phenomenal. And hopefully we get returning characters like Jonathan. I would love to see the return of either the original Mummy character. We'll probably have to do some de-aging there with the actor if he wants to return, and also the possible return of the Scorpion King as well. And the other actor who played Hafez in the Mummy movies, I don't know why he's not more prevalent either. I haven't seen him like in anything really. I feel like their careers should have really continued past what the Mummy and the Mummy Returns was. So I would love to see all these characters come back. All that being said, guys, long winded, my apologies, but I just absolutely am looking forward to this project and I hope it turns out to be true. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Would you love to see a Mummy 4, and who would you like them to face off against? Would you like them to fight the Scorpion King or a whole new villain? And what type of mummy would you like to see them fight? Let me know what you guys think. All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our last movie news topic of the day. And our last movie news topic of the day is regarding Daniel Trenton's Predator Badlands is fusing alien lore and there's a tease of Arnold Schwarzenegger's possible return. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this article from Deadline. Predator Badlands in hold on. Damn it, my fucking dyslexia is kicking in hard here, guys. Predator Badlands integrates. Oh my god, I couldn't figure out integrates in my mind. Anyways, Predator Badlands integrates the Whaley Yutani Corporation and features Elle Fanning as a synth, marking a subtle but significant crossover with the Alien universe. The film centers around cast out predator named Deck and a damaged synth named Thea, avoiding human characters to deepen the alien perspective. Now, I know there was a big issue with this movie being PG-13, but seeing as there's no really blood, but you can still do a lot of damage and action and stuff like that, I think that's what's going to be causing this movie to be PG-13 as opposed to R. I'm sure the action would have been the exact same if there was or wasn't blood. That just happens to not be human, so it's okay. I mean, the Predators have neon green blood, and everything else probably has red, like purplish, and other type of bloodish colors that go with everyone else. But anyways, that being said, guys, I think the incorporation of the Alien franchise into the Predator franchise is absolutely phenomenal. It's just leading up to another AVP. Now, I'm not sure if the other AVP movies they're going to canonize those in some way. We have no details regarding that as of yet, but I do think it makes sense to have these franchises coincide with each other. We had just the most recent Alien raising Alien Romulus that did phenomenal. We had Alien Earth. So to have the Predator and Alien franchises really just collide and come up to another, hopefully Alien versus Predator movie, I think would absolutely be phenomenal. And the fact that we're possibly going to have a lead Predator in Deck fight off against aliens, a Predator that we're actually involved in, that's not that can work with the synths or whatever they're going to work with, really could be beneficial. So I'm very curious how it's all going to turn out in general. But the big news here is the possible return of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So let me read you guys that detail. Producer Ben Resbelt revealed Arnold Schwarzenegger has met with Dan Trachtenberg, about reprising his iconic role as Dutch in a future sequel pending the success of Badlands. So if Badlands does good, we will probably see a sequel with Dutch's return and Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Dutch. Now, hear me out. In the Predator Killer of Killers movie, we get a cameo. So they didn't show it on the initial release, but I think they've re-edited it and kind of released it now. At the end of the Predator Badlands movie, we see the character from Prey. Why can't I remember her name? The female character from Prey. We see damn, I can't remember the other guy's name too. Jesus, but the character from Predator 2, played by oh my god, what's his damn name? Lethal Weapon. He's a fucking great actor. And if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. Anyways, we see those two characters and we see Dutch all frozen in crowd chambers. So I think what they should do, if they're going to incorporate it, and here's my opinion and here's my theory, I think they're going to have another Predator Killer of Killers, a sequel to what we just saw. Uh, Dutch and the other characters are probably going to break out of their prisons, or we'll probably keep the female character in the cryosleep, and I'll tell you why right now. But Dutch and the other gentleman will, from Lethal Weapon, we're gonna call him Riggs, or not Riggs, Murtaugh, because I don't remember his damn name. Dutch and Murtaugh will break out, and then fight and escape, and then have them age into the newer Predator live action film. So we're gonna have an older Dutch and an older character, and then maybe have them break out the newer lady in the newer film, because now we get to see her as a younger person as they are older. So I think that's a way you can kind of bring him in to the live action realm. But you're definitely gonna have to see an animated version of Dutch before you get a live action version of Dutch, if that's going to be what they do. Now, him returning as Dutch for future sequels could just mean the animated one. I mean, we really don't know. So I'm very curious what they're going to end up doing. Now, I know Arnold's return to his iconic roles and like Terminator franchise hasn't been super successful, and it's not necessary for him to return to a Predator franchise sequel movie, but I do think his addition uh, would be beneficial, not only for nostalgic reasons but just for the lore reasons, to continue on, what happened to Dutch now that we saw him frozen in crowd chambers, or it could possibly lead and into the Predator culture, especially as someone as massive as Arnold was, size wise, and then as little as the Indian girl was in the last movie. I can't fucking remember her name. But seeing the duality of, they don't really care about size or sexuality, they just care about pure ability to fight and to just be killers. So I just think it's very interesting what's going on with this franchise, and hopefully it continues to thrive. And to see Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch in an Alien and Predator movie fighting aliens and predators, don't even fucking get me started with that shit. I'll just lose my goddamn mind. But anyways, guys, all that being said, please let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Are you excited for Predator Badlands, and would you like to see the return of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch and Murtaugh's character? Because I don't remember his name. If you know, let me know in the comments. All right, guys. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast. But let me know. Oh, Jesus, guys. Hold on. Gotta go back to my script. Mine work correctly. Anyways, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast, guys. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And always remember, guys, stay true, be odd.